astro traveling. Have you guys ever astro traveled before? So I have a good bit of times. Like I can't even count how many times I've astro traveled. And I don't know if there's any connection between the two, but I feel like when your body, what is it called when you sleep paralysis? I feel like sleep paralysis and astro traveling kind of go hand in hand. And I'm going to tell my story and why I feel that way. So I remember being a young girl, probably like 9 or 10 years old, and I was in this room, and I had the door locked because my mom was in the room. We went out of town. Okay, we went out of town. I was left in the room. I fell asleep, and it's like I woke up and I was like floating over my body, and everything was so vivid. Like the lights were vivid, like the lights was brighter than what you see here. And the TV was hanging on the wall, and I was floating up there amongst the TV. And the TV was so loud in my ear. I remember being like, why is this TV so loud? And I look and my body was laying in the bed, and I'm like a kid. I'm like 9 or 10 years old. And I know how old I was because my mom told me, when this all happened. So I'm floating above my body. I see my body in the bed. My mom comes to the door. She's knocking on the door because we're in a hotel. So I was supposed to stay up to open the door for her. And I obviously couldn't get up because I'm sitting up there over my body, looking at my body in the bed, and I'm just floating over my body. And so next thing I know, my mom comes in and I pop up like this in the bed. And I was trying to explain to her what happened, but she was already upset. So the next day I tried to tell her, I said I was on the wall and I couldn't explain it. So it was hard for her to understand. So that was, like I said, when I was like 19 years old. And so fast forward to like my late 20s, and I started getting sleep paralysis when I would sleep. And I would be in my body trying to get up and move and stuff, but I couldn't move. If you've been through sleep paralysis before, you know exactly how that is. It's like hell trying to get up, right? So I told somebody about it, and they told me to say the Lord's Prayer. I did, and it worked. It did. It got me up out of there. And so it happened. I remember it happened again in like my early 30s. And I got the sleep paralysis. I kept getting it. And I was so like trying to figure out, why do I keep having the sleep paralysis? Like, why does this keep happening to me? I was told that I would ask around, ask people, because I wasn't on YouTube. I don't even know if YouTube was a thing back then. But this was like the late 90s. Or this was like the late 90s, early 2000s. So around like 2008, 9, 10, something like that. Anyway, so I kept getting the sleep paralysis every night. I would go to sleep, I would get that. And people told me that you shouldn't sleep close to the door, or you shouldn't sleep with your back towards the door and stuff. So I tried all those things, and it still made me have sleep paralysis until one day I go to sleep and I'm floating around my room. And it scared the mess out of me because at the time I forgot about, it happened to me when I was a kid. Of course, when I woke up, I was kind of confused and I was just like, what was that? It actually took me a while to remember because I had suppressed that situation that happened to me when I project when I was a kid. Somebody actually said something to me to remind me that I even went through that when I was a kid. And I was like, oh my goodness, I remember now. Like, what? That is right. So I was like, well, dog, why did it take so long for me to do it again? And I wasn't purposely doing it, but I don't know how. or why I end up doing it. That I don't know. So if anyone knows, why this happened, like sleep paralysis, and if it's connected to astral projecting, then definitely let me know. Okay? But so anyway, so it happened, it kept happening, and I was just like, what is going on? So I realized the sleep paralysis stopped and I started astral projecting. Now, mind you, at this time, and around 2010, 14, whatever in between there, I didn't know I was astral projecting. I still didn't have a name for it. I would just say like floating above my body or something like that back in the day. But because I didn't have a name for it, it wasn't until I got in my late 30s, almost 40 years old, that I even knew or found out that this is something that happens to other people. And, because at the time, I didn't know anybody who said, oh, yeah, that happened to me too. Most people said that the sleep paralysis happened to them, but at the time, I didn't know anybody that actually astral projected. So, so that kept happening a lot. And it was weird because it was scary to me. I could see myself in the room and I'm just like in the room. And I remember in my late 30s, I heard stories of people talking about astro traveling and stuff. And then I was like, oh, okay. So that's what it was I was doing. I was projecting. Like, I don't know why you do that or how that even comes about. But I feel like when that starts happening, it's like opening you up for, it's a spiritual thing, and it's opening you up to become more spiritual, maybe. Because when all this was happening to me in my early 30s, my late 20s, early 30s, I was going through a lot of spiritual stuff that I didn't even realize I was going through. Like, I thought it was just life. I was a hothead. I was a hothead. Like, I would blow up over the smallest thing. I would be ready to fight. Like, I'd be ready to take it there. I had a big mouth. So something happened to me. So me and the guy I was dating at the time, or well, we wasn't dating, we were living together. But me and the guy I was living with at this time, I couldn't talk to him about these things because it would go over his head. It would be too much for him. It probably made me look super weird to him. So I just stopped having the conversations with him. So at the time, I told him what was going on. He didn't understand it. So I just tried to, mask it. So it would happen. I would just wake up and then just try to forget it, right? So we got in an argument, me and the guy. So he left out the house. I'm following behind him while he's leaving out the house. And I throw something, and I've never been good at throwing or catching. Okay. So I throw something at him. It lands on my next door neighbor's yard. Just on her yard. Didn't hit her, didn't hit a child, didn't hit a dog, a cat, a rat, a bat, didn't hit nothing. It fell on the ground, right? And I can't even remember what I threw. It probably was something that was real flimsy because it wasn't nothing heavy or anything, right? So I throw the object, whatever it was. It lands on my neighbor's, in my neighbor's yard. And at the time, I was living in townhouses. And if you guys ever been in a townhouse before, they're like this. So that tells you how far it was, the object that I threw. So it lands over there, and the girl, she's outside, my neighbor, and she's outside, and she just started showing out on me. She act like I was going after her because I was showing out with him. But since I threw something in her yard, then she wanted to start with me, and we were cool. We were cool. She was coming over to my children's birthday parties. And, I thought we were cool. So anyway, I'm mad at him. She trying to take up from him, and she's, showing aggression towards me. So now we both going at it. She calls the police, and I guess must have got some advice from them or something. So she goes to the police department and files like a claim or something against me, and tells the police station, in the report, that I hit her daughter. Mind you, I didn't hit anyone, and especially not a child. Okay. And at this time, my children were real young. At this time, they were real young. My oldest was in high school, but my other two, they were like in elementary school. Like, they were very young. So I'm not out here hitting people cheering or nothing, right? So she tells them that. And in the state I was living in, what they do is they come and pick you up, take you to jail, book you, then you go to the little magistrate court there, and then they send you home and give you a court date to come back. So I didn't know anything about all this, right? I didn't even know that. I knew she had picked up the phone and act like she was calling somebody. And I was like, who the fuck she calling? Because I ain't touch her. I just threw something in her yard. Like, you gonna call the police because I threw something in your yard? Anyway, so so this was like earlier in the day because it was daytime. By nighttime, by the time nighttime came, I'm at the grocery store getting some grocery or whatever. And that guy that I was dating, he called me and told me that the police had came to the house to pick me up because I hit the girl's daughter. And I was like, what is you talking about? And he was like, yeah, I don't know what they talking about, but you got to come back. You got to turn yourself in. Like, he was crying. And I never seen him cry before. And it was just weird to me. And I was like, you playing with me, right? And he was like, no, no. So anyway, so I go down to the police station, turn myself in. Luckily for me, the time that I went there, they were just about to like rotate people out, because I guess in jail they rotate people out. They have like release times. And so I stayed there less than an hour, you guys, not even a full hour, long enough to book, go to the magistrate because the magistrate was like a 24-hour magistrate in this jail, luckily for me. Okay, so I get booked, I go to the magistrate, they give me my court date, and they told me that, because that was the first time I could get out on like a PI bond or something. So anyway, so I get released. I go home. We talk about, everything that happened, me and the guy I was dating, or the guy I was seeing. And we done formed we done formed the army against her, right? Now we're like, we're gonna get her, like, we're gonna get her back for that. So anyway, to make a long story short, I paid somebody to whoop her ass. So yeah, anyway, so that's all I'm saying about that part. But I learned a lot doing all that. So actually, I didn't pay someone. He did. He told me he was going to do it, and I was like, who? And then he did it, and I was like, oh, them. And I was so happy. Yeah. But anyway, that could be some criminal mess right there. But anyway, she deserved it. She deserved to get her behind whipped because she lied to the police. And why would you lie to them? Why would you try to ruin my life like that? All because of what? That was the craziest mess ever to me. And nothing like that had ever happened to me before. I just thought that was the craziest mess ever. So, anyway, so one night after that while that was going on, one night I had a dream. And I saw, like, it's like I was sitting in a movie theater and I saw the screen on the wall and it said James. It had big, bold, black letters, James, and the screen was white. And so when I woke up, I was like, okay, what is this, James? Like, clear as day. Like, something is trying to tell me something, right? So then I looked up in the book of James and I was like, oh, it talked about the power of the tongue. And I had just gotten to mess with the girl, and I was like, this is weird right here. And this is like when I'm coming into my spirituality. That's why I had to tell the story, because I had to tell that part about myself in order for you to understand how spiritual this situation was. So at the time, astro projecting at night. I don't even know what astro projecting is. You know, I'm also having sleep paralysis. And then I had that dream. And that opened me up to a whole lot. But I was scared of it. I was afraid because I didn't understand what was going on. So anyway, so that took me down this whole little journey of this little spiritual journey that I had to go through all by myself because I didn't have anyone to talk to about what I was going through. Because when I would tell people or people I thought I could trust, they would just act weird, you know, afterwards. It was just weird. So I just stopped telling people and I kept it to myself. But it was heavy trying to keep to myself because I felt like I should have had a teacher or someone, like someone should be telling me what am I going through right now. So anyway, so I moved back home. So I moved back home. It probably was a couple of years later, probably like 2 or 3 years later. I moved back home to my home state. And I get this place and I go to sleep. I'm in my bed. I go to sleep and I astral project above my body. And I'm in the room and I can see everything that's going on. So now I kind of feel like I'm being here before I did this. So while I'm astral projecting, while I'm in it, I'm like, I'm gonna go outside. And this is what I said to myself while I'm in this whatever you call that, while I'm astral projecting. I said, I'm gonna go outside because I never went outside before. And at the time when I think back on me astral projecting, I was like, maybe I should try to move more, see what's going on, go outside my room, stuff like that. So I call myself going out, going down my hallway, going out my room, going down the hallway, going out the door. And it's like I went around the house too, because my room was on the corner of my house. It was on the corner. So it's like I went outside my room, outside the house, and was on the side of the window, on the side of my room, outside by the window. And I felt like something was like I was trying to go, but something was yanking me back like that. Like I felt like I kept doing that. And so I was thinking while I'm astro projecting, I was thinking, why I can't go? Like, what is holding me? Is it a cord holding me? So I was feeling like it's a cord or something. Like you seen them churn on them little cords, or you walk a dog and they try to go somewhere and you pulling them back. It's like something was pulling me back like that, right? So I go back in the house. I see myself going inside, going down the hallway, going back in my room, and I went back in my body and I went to sleep. It's like I purposely did all that. So when I woke up, I was like, wow, I had some control there. I was like, what is going on here? And so I was like, well, why couldn't I leave and go like explore outside and stuff? Because for some reason, something was holding me back and wouldn't let me go further, wouldn't let me leave like my house. So I still don't know what that is. I said all that to say I still don't know what that is, but I was able to venture away from my body doing that. And that's the only time I did that. And matter of fact, that's the last time I astral project. Hopefully I won't astral project because I don't really like doing that. I don't really like astral projecting. I don't like the way it makes me feel while I'm in it and even coming out of it. I don't like that feeling. But my daughter had asked me about astral projecting today, and we had a conversation, but we got interrupted, so I wasn't able to have the conversation. So I wanted to have it on my YouTube channel here. So if anybody know anything about astral projecting, definitely let me know. Good night, Dwight. I'm doing good. I hope you're doing good as well in Canada. I hope you're staying warm. And it says, kiss me, I'm a casa. Casa was the company that my husband, my late husband, worked for. And so I wear this shirt because it's a comfort thing for me. It's like, it's just like that. It's a comfort thing for me. And it reminds me of my husband. So I always wear this. But anyway, so yeah, so I'm not quite sure why I wasn't able to like venture further. But I feel like when you guys are dreaming and you're in the dream world, try to think and do something. Try to think and do something, do something different. Just try to think outside the box while you're dreaming. I know it gets hard because sometimes you get caught up in that dream and it's hard to control it. It just kind of flows on its own. But I would suggest trying to actually maneuver, make things happen in your dream to see if you can kind of control it a little bit. Because I don't know where we go or what's happening really when we astro project like that. But I do know I'm a dreamer. I have dreams a lot. And a lot of times I don't really have too much control of my dreams, but I'm conscious of what's going on. It's like I can have a conversation while I'm in the dream. And I guess in the dream it makes sense, but it's not like anything like, oh, give me $1 million, or something like that. It's not like that. It's just like, I don't know, it's normal, but at the same time, I feel like I could think and respond to certain things. But with the astro traveling, I'm not sure why I couldn't go further because I wanted to like float in the sky and go to another country and stuff like that. That's what I was thinking at the time that I was going to do. And I couldn't go that far. So if anybody know what's up with that, you know, if you can even do that, definitely let me know. If any of you guys have ever astro projected before, let me know your experience. I know it's hard to type all that, but you could sum it up somehow, right? So, yeah. Like I said, that last time I astro projected, that probably was around 2005 or 6 or something like that. And so, like I said, I don't like that feeling. I don't like that feeling at all. Actually, every time it happened, I didn't ask for it to happen. It just happened. So, yeah. But that's my experience with astro traveling. And I still don't know too much about it. I don't. But yeah, like I said, I hope you guys appreciate this story time here because y'all know I like telling stories, telling my stories. They're all true, okay? Hopefully it can't be researched and, I get caught up for something. But yeah, you guys, thank you so much for watching my video here. Please hit that subscribe button. I didn't say that in my last video, but please hit that subscribe button and hit the thumbs up button if you like the dream videos, because the activity that you give me on these videos, that lets me know if I should continue doing them or just cut it all out, and be done with it all. But yeah, you guys, stay warm, okay? It's holiday season time. Yeah. All right, get comfortable. Do something you love. Watch a movie, a Christmas movie to put you in the spirit or to tuck you in at night. I'm so corny, but it's okay. It's all right. But yeah, you guys, this is it for this video. Thank you for watching. Please like, share. Please like and share. Okay, well, you don't really got to share it unless you know somebody who astro travels as well. And maybe we can even do a collab, okay, on YouTube. I would love to do a collab with someone on YouTube. All right. Why I want to do a collab? Why I want to work with somebody? Like, I don't know. I just do. But yeah, you guys, yes, have a good night. I'll see you guys next time tomorrow. It's Vlogmas. I got a vlog every day. Okay? Lives every day. All right, so hit that subscribe button so you can know when I'm going